beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. It's a little different, it's not tin whistle related, I know, but technically it is for me because, well, today I'm showing you some backdrops that I've been using over the last few weeks and that I will continue to use moving forward for my tin whistle tutorials. And these were kindly sent to me by lofarisbackdrop.com. Now, one of the representatives who works at Lofaris Backdrop actually watched my video on updating my studio space recently. I added some soundproofing to this back wall underneath this backdrop. I added some other additional things to make this space suitable for tin whistle recording and tutorials, etc. And they offered to send me a selection of backdrops that I can use in my videos and make a review on, so I get these backdrops completely free and I get to use them in every video I create moving forward, which is really cool. Obviously, I get sent free products quite often, so it's not going to affect the validity of my review. It's not going to bias my opinion in any way. I'm just here to tell you what I like and what I dislike about these backdrops, and hopefully give you an idea of something that you could do in the future if you want to create videos, or if you want to create a beautiful looking space in your home, or something that you'd like to use for a gig, etc. These are going to be fantastic. Now, before we dive in, they have also given me a 15% off discount code that you folks can use if you would like to order anything from their website. It is CutiePie15, and if you head over to the lofarisbackdrop.com website linked in the description down below, you can use that to get 15% off. Now, I'm starting with one of the matte vinyl backdrops that Lofaris sent me. You may have seen this in a video or two last week. It's this gorgeous blue, pink, purple cloud effect backdrop, and the matte vinyl backdrops are actually really affordable. They start from around 12 to 15 pounds. Now, I actually chose the smallest size because the space I'm working in is quite small, and generally filming the sorts of videos that I film, I only really need as much of my body as you can see here. Usually a lot of what I film is closer, so I didn't really need a large space. But if I zoom out a little, I'll show you how I have this attached. Now, you can see that the backdrop is actually held up on a little pole here, which is between two cupboards that I have either side of me. And this is actually, it's just like a curtain pole. You can get ones that extend and press between two different surfaces, but it's a thin curtain pole that is extendable, which I purchased for this reason in particular. I have some standard clothes pegs on the top holding it up. And if you were to use this for actual photography purposes, you might want to stretch this sort of canvas out a little. You can get actual standing frames that you can use for photography, and these backgrounds are quite good for that. They're a matte vinyl, so obviously there's no reflections coming from these, which is fantastic. They're really lightweight. They're this sort of crinkly sounding material, and they do come quite creased when they arrive. They're folded into a little square, but they're really portable and they're nice and bright coloured as well. Now, the fact that these are really cheap makes them great for parties, for any sort of events where you may not need to use it that often in the future. I like the fact that they kind of hold their shape somewhat. That makes things easier for me, especially with this setup. But yeah, again, I have just like 4 or 5 clothes pegs on here, and this is staying up behind me absolutely perfectly. So I'm really impressed with that. Now, in order to get the creases out of these, you do actually need to iron them kind of slowly on a low heat on the back. And that is kind of time consuming. You need a lot of patience. So the only negative for me, I would say, on these is that you do require a little patience to get the creases out effectively, because if you do turn your iron up a little too high on the heat, you will distort the shape of the fabric as you're ironing. Now, I also mentioned I have the smallest size of these. So these are 1.5 by 1 meter or 3 by 5 foot. And yeah, they work perfectly for me, but you can get larger sizes. Obviously the price goes up, but if you are using them for a party or for an event, the sort of bigger the better, and the more of an impact this sort of thing will make. But I'll go ahead now and swap these over and show you the other matte vinyl backdrop that I have. So as you can see, changing these backgrounds is really easy, fast and convenient, and of course it makes such a difference to the overall feel of the video. This one is cool, it's very Elsa vibes. Would be great for winter or for anything Disney, I think. And as you can see, it's laying pretty flat. Again, I did have to iron this one. I probably did it a little too quickly, but you can see that there are no problems with the backdrop at all whatsoever. It sits perfectly. It's hangs nicely, and the colours are absolutely gorgeous behind me. I really, really love this one. Now, if you're interested in these matte vinyl backdrops and you want to check out this really affordable range, I have linked these backdrops by fabric in the description down below, so you can go ahead and look at the collections they have on their website in this fabric, in this material. So I'll link those below, do go check those out. And let's move on to another type of backdrop. Now, the second product that I have to show you today, on my product demonstration video, is the actual microfiber backdrops. And these are a much thicker fabric. They are not a crunchy sounding fabric. They don't crease anywhere near as much as the previous backdrops. And the colours on them are richer. They are far easier to iron, and I really, really like these. They have a selection of themed backdrops in this style. They're a little more expensive. They're around £20 rather than sort of 10 or 15. And obviously they go up from there. Again, I've got the small sizes because I don't need any more than this, but I considerably prefer this fabric personally for what I need to do. It sits nicely, it doesn't wrinkle. These are light absorbing, so they're really great for photography as well. You won't get any flashes from these if you're using flash photography. And for video, I think they're really, really effective. Ignore me just looking in the camera. I'm trying to see where to position myself to show you. This one is actually a Halloween themed, so we have some candles up here, a skull, we have this witch's cauldron fireplace, some bellows and a witch's broom. This would be great for Halloween or for anything Harry Potter-esque. And it's kind of why I chose this one. I do a lot of fantasy or film related content on my YouTube channel. We even have a witch's hat here, and I was hoping that this would come in handy with potions, etc. Now you can see at the edge of these, they are actually hemmed on the edge here, and they're plain on the back. The microfiber is soft, it's durable. If I crumple it, it doesn't crease, it kind of holds its shape a lot better than the matte vinyl, so I really like that. There is a sort of a slight sheen, if you will. It is picking up a little more light perhaps than the matte vinyl itself. This next one is one of my favourites. It's a little spooky still, there are candles, there's creepy looking woodland through the window here, but I love the curtain effect. This could be maybe some sort of old house. I'd probably be perfect for one of the Phantom of the Opera tunes that I'm doing next month. The third one is this gorgeous floral, almost castle-like scene. There are fairy elements here, which I think is really pretty. Again, it's a sort of fantasy theme to it. It would be great for something from Tangled, or again, a few Disney things. Also would be nice just for some pretty Irish tunes and things as well, especially if I stand covering the castle. It's just a kind of, I don't know, nice feel to it, kind of Celtic fantasy that everybody likes. But I like the fact that it's floral and that it's woodland, and it's also got that distance to it as well. I think one of the cool things about these backdrops is that they can create space behind you that you otherwise don't have on camera in small spaces, which I think is really useful. Now, as I said, I've also got the small size in these backdrops. If you're using them for the same purposes as me and you're playing instruments on these, if you have a small instrument like a flute, or even if you have a ukulele, if you have an ocarina or a tin whistle or a recorder, anything, any small instrument that you're playing close to your face can be played using these backdrops in this particular size. If you're using something like a guitar or a harp or a saxophone that comes down longer, if you've got a double bass or anything with a significant size, you might want to go for something that has a longer drop and a wider width to accommodate your larger instruments, to give you more space to play with. You can get these that come right to the floor and roll underneath you so you can stand on them and become a part of the backdrop, and that is really useful if you're planning to do bigger things with these than just stand in a small space in front of it. Now, this final backdrop is probably my favourite. The colours are so perfect with what I do. I love the sort of blurred effect in the middle. The lights up here I think are a cute touch. There are so many different backdrops, different themes, different colours to choose from on the website. You can get additional features on a lot of these backdrops as well. Like, I'm using pegs at the top here, but you can get these created so that they have a sort of loop pocket at the top, so you can slide on and off a pole really easily as well. The pegs just kind of work for me, so I just went for that. But yeah, there are options that you can make this as easy for you as possible. Now, with regards to the microfiber backdrops, I like these. I like the fabric a lot more than the matte vinyl. They do have a slight sheen to them, I think, in natural and, like, I'm using mixed natural and artificial light here, and there is a little bit of a sheen even though they are light absorbing. The colours aren't as bright, but they are more vibrant than the matte vinyl. They hold their shape equally as well. They're slightly heavier, so they probably hold their shape a little better, to be honest. They're more expensive. They're £20 rather than £10, for example. But they are more durable, they will last longer, and that suits my purposes a lot more than the matte vinyl. The third and final style of backdrop I have is actually a tapestry, and tapestries are designed for wall hanging purposes. They're meant to be hung around your home. They're really lightweight. They're sort of a silk scarf feeling material. They are super easy to iron. They're the easiest to iron, I would say, of all three. Again, you need a low heat, but I love how the creases fall out of these. And these are actually a little larger than the backdrops, as they're not really designed for that purpose as such. But yeah, they do have a very slight sheen to them, nothing that really picks up on camera, nothing that really reflects. But I think if you were perhaps doing flash photography, you might get a little bouncing light off these. So as I said, they're more designed for decoration around the home, and they are incredible for that. But for my purposes on video, they work amazingly. So I'm going to pop these up and show you how they look. Now, I've zoomed out a little to show you more of this one. They are longer, so it's right down, covering a large portion of the wall, and that is good for standing in front of if you need to make a wider shot, especially if you're doing portrait or vertical videos for social media. That's really useful to have that extra length. They are lightweight, so they don't quite sit as straight. You can see perhaps there's a little movement on the corner of these, and if you did have a draft or something in the room that you're filming in, you might get a little movement with the back of these. I think if you were to use them as a backdrop, you'd want them to be sort of pinned at the sides so that they held their shape nicely. But yeah, for my purposes, again, if I zoom in now, you'll see that it just works. So yeah, as you can see, when it's full behind me, it looks incredible. And because I have the extra height on this, I could actually change the camera position and use different parts of this backdrop. So the top here is darker, the bottom is a little lighter, some different colors in there. So I've got a little more to play with this extra size. Now, you'll have seen this next backdrop on the video that I did with Luke Webb Harpist this week. It is the Norse or Viking god. I love him, he is incredible. So I'll pop this one up now and show you how this one looks too. Personally, if I had to pick for my own purposes between the three, I would probably choose either the microfiber backdrops or the tapestries. The tapestries give me a little more space to work with top to bottom, especially if I'm filming for social media and I'm filming vertical videos. They're also really lightweight, they're easy to store, they're super easy to iron. They're a little thinner and more compact than the backdrops themselves, the microfiber backdrops, and they're a little larger. The only thing I will say is that obviously they don't sit as flat or straight. So I would perhaps need additional ways of holding these in place if I was to buy more of them. The final backdrop is this spooky woodland, gorgeous orange and black and brown colors. I absolutely love it. You can see there are little windows in the tree here. It is just a fantasy masterpiece right here. If you look on the website, they have so many different tapestries, so you can always find something that will go with your room, whether that's color-wise or theme. Do check those out because there are thousands. I'll just scroll through a few on screen for you here now. You can see all the choice that you have on these. It's really impressive. And from a price point of view, they start from around £15 and go up from there depending on the size that you order. So that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it wasn't Tinwhistle related as such, but you will be getting to see and enjoy all of these backdrops in the videos that I create. Obviously, I can go outside, but I do live in Wales. Wales rains a lot. It's quite cold, and obviously it's kind of easier to record and to create tutorials and everything that I need to do from home. If I can do this from a studio space, it's more convenient and I can get things done quicker and I can put more videos out for you folks. So hopefully it is the answer to adding a little more flair to my videos. making things a little more interesting for you folks watching, and also being convenient as well. I would like to say a huge thank you to lofarisbackdrop.com for sending me these incredible products. Thank you so much. I love them, really look forward to using them here on my channel. As I said, folks, you can get a 15% discount if you would like to buy anything yourself using the code CutiePie15 on the lofarisbackdrop.com website. All links in the description down below. That is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you folks again next week for some more tin whistle tutorials where we're back on track with music and not just cool backdrops. But until then, happy whistling, and I'll see you soon. Bye.